How's it going, everyone? My name is Maximilian, and you're watching the 25 episodes. The 25th episode of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, The Online Warrior. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to another episode of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, The Online Warrior. In this series, we discuss the goings-on in the community related to this game, the players, the mechanics, the new features, and everything else about Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And man, has there been a lot to talk about, because we are on episode 25, and in only a few of those episodes have I actually had to resort to doing, like, match analysis breakdowns. It's kind of crazy that with a fighting game, and a community of people around it, how so much drama can happen. And the fighting game community does seem to be filled with a lot of drama, but at the same time there's a lot of excitement. And when you have a game like this, a fast-paced, multi-option, high-action type of fighting game, there's so many things that kind of happen like every single day, and there's always something new that happens. So I can't thank the community more than enough for providing such entertainment. I mean, I don't think it's even possible that any other gaming-related community can possibly be more interactive and more drama-filled and even, you know, more lifelike than anything else. It's a little insane. It kind of reminds me of, like, real-life sports and their own celebrities, but nonetheless, yeah, man, we're at 25 episodes, and I can hardly believe it. This is the longest-running series of mine on my YouTube channel, and I've been doing this for the past year or so now. I think in the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3, we only got up to about, like, maybe less than, like, 15, maybe 16 episodes. I'm actually not too sure, but this game kind of took on a life of its own, and it still resides as one of the most hype fighting games around right now, and it's for good reason. Marvel is fun, and it's really enjoyable, and it's a good formula. Even though there's some crazy crap in it, it doesn't really matter, because every time I come back to it, I really enjoy myself. So as I was saying earlier, we like to cover a lot of topics amongst the community, and if in the meantime, besides that, we also cover, like, in-game fighting tactics. I break a match down, figure out what was the moment that decided the match, and things like that. But I was thinking about this and trying to think of where I should take the Online Warrior, because I'm trying to constantly think of doing new things. I want to take this avenue of, like, analyzing games and talking about community aspects and take it to a level further, because the biggest thing I get out of doing shows like this, personally, is the fact that I'm able to express my passion for, like, fighting games and even just video games in general to people that aren't aware of it. And whenever I read a story of somebody who came in and they found the Online Warrior series, or they found Assist Me or something like that, and it gets them back into fighting games, I think that every time I read that, I never forget it. And it almost gets to the point where I kind of keep doing what I'm doing to hear that, because there's a lot of content in the fighting game community, and in most, like, competitive gaming communities, like those avenues of how you have a game and you take it competitively and you take it seriously. There's a lot of content around the players and the folks that make higher level videos. Like, you'll find a lot of really high tier type of, like, tactics and things that you would never really expect to see. And there seems to be a lot of that. I've always noticed this, and I was one of the guys too, where I didn't think there'd be a purpose to putting up a video unless it was tailored towards the people who were really good at, like, a fighting game. And over time, especially doing this series and hearing the impressions and the thoughts of a bunch of players, I think that side of the community, like the top tier community, is extremely important, because they keep things fresh. They constantly are introducing new things that are insane and fun, and like, oh my god, look at this, and players that have awesome personalities, or personalities that you, like, love to hate. Things like that. It keeps the community fresh, and it keeps it awesome, and it keeps it entertaining. But then over time, I started to really realize that when it comes to fighting games, there's not a lot of content that, like, updates the people that don't know what's going on, that updates the people that really don't know how to do things, that don't understand how to deal with certain kinds of matchups or, like, certain situations. And I kind of felt that over time I was seeing this a lot and a lot more, and especially from the perspective of somebody who used to take fighting games competitively and really seriously, which is how I was through my early college years, and growing up I eventually, like, got jobs and work, and I was unable to keep up with it, because it takes a lot of time. But I respect the guys that do that, because it's not the most luxurious of lifestyles, and it can be personally really rewarding to be really good at something and to be really proud of it. So I'm totally down for endorsing that lifestyle, but at the same time, there's not a lot that nurtures the newer players. And like I was saying with the Online Warrior, I kind of figured this as a new avenue to try to bring people in. Like, as much as there's content to keep the guys that are amazing at these games, the people that are like competitive tournament level ready to fight against other people that are tournament level ready around the world, there's a lot of content to keep those guys fresh, to keep them, like, you know, on the cutting edge, and you see new videos every single day about technology and things like that. But at the same time, we don't see videos every day about like just explaining what's going on in the community, explaining the basic tactics, the basic thought process that goes behind like one of these matches, like breaking things down to their fundamentals, because I understand what's going on, even though I'm not at like the physical aptitude to perform like a lot of this stuff anymore, and like a lot of the muscle memory of the past is lost with age. However, for myself, I kind of thought this as excellent opportunity to grow the community in that way, to bring newer people in, to try to find new ways to get people interested in fighting games, and especially the ones I love. Like, I've loved Marvel's ever since Marvel versus or the Marvel series ever since X-Men versus Street Fighter. I can still recall to almost excellent detail the day I walked into my local arcade as a kid, and I saw that game on the shelf. This was before, like, you know, internet was big at all. I don't think anyone really had the internet except for like a random AOL disc. And I walked in and I saw that game, and it was so amazing because it combined the two things that I absolutely loved as a kid, and it was like Capcom games, it was Street Fighter, and it was like the X-Men cartoon, and it kind of stuck with me ever since. And with that, I kind of brought it on to Marvel, and I wanted to share the excitement of Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, and extended to 3. And with this avenue of the Online Warrior and things like Assist Me, it really gave me an opportunity to do that. So I think what I'm getting to with all these broad topics of conversation, especially this one, is that we're 25 episodes in, and we started this whole Online Warrior series back in November. And I personally can't thank you guys enough for watching this show and keeping up with it. And like I said, when I read those comments about newer players that get into this game and this avenue of these internet videos, and essentially my enthusiasm for fighting games kind of being translated and it not really touching but like inspiring some people to jump back into the community and to try to be a part of this this thing that I think is great, is really something special. I try to put it into words, and I think about it a lot as I try to think of the new ways of tailoring the series towards people that already are aware of the game, trying to keep things fresh for those guys while also trying to keep things educational enough for the newer players, and as they understand what's going on. And the feedback I've gotten on this series has been so amazing, and I want to keep continuing to do it. I want to keep making other fighting game things like this happen. I think we just started in Skullgirls, and that game is a absolute blast. I think the more people supporting fighting games, the better, because I think as of recently, Street Fighter Cross Tekken didn't do so well, and that's going to happen every once in a while. I'm a huge advocate for Capcom fighting games myself. Like, when I think of fighting games, I kind of think around like Street Fighter-esque fighting games, but there's a lot of others out there, and even in that time of drought when Capcom fighting games kind of were on the back burner, you know, the mid-2000s or so, there were a lot of other companies still making fighting games, like Guilty Gear, and Namco was making Tekken, and Soul Calibur as well, and there was like Mortal Kombat games, I think, every other year. So there definitely are other aspects, but a lot of you guys, and I can completely agree, really like fighting games because of like the Street Fighter aspect, like the Marvel vs. Capcom aspect, and I agree with you because it's a lot of where my original like passion for this stuff came from, was from arcades, and when these games would show up in the arcades, it was the greatest thing on earth for that period of time. So what I wanted to announce is, based off that and based off this education that I want to try to give the community of players that are coming into fighting games and people that are potentially having difficulty with certain issues or things like that, I want to be some more supportive towards you guys in this series, because this series is very dedicated towards fighting game community issues, and we talk about those issues and what they mean and how they're impactful and things like that. But Ultimate Marvel 3's been out for like quite a few months now, and the overall like news for the game kind of wanes a little bit, so I'm kind of trying to think of other things we can do with this show to try to help out the players besides just like community news updates. And I want to extend something kind of similar that we did earlier in the Online Warrior series for this game, and it was that we took match clips from players, and I kind of like broke them down and gave you guys like a spotlight, like these players that either have like an awesome comeback, a crazy glitch that happens online, anything that was insane like that. And I made these clip videos that took place during the Online Warrior episodes where you guys can check them out, and I put their YouTube channels all over the place because I wanted to give them exposure if they were absolutely awesome at the game. And it's a great perspective for like really high level play, which my channel doesn't really provide a lot because I don't have the individual time to invest into becoming absolutely like amazing at Marvel. I kind of sit at the mid-level and try to express the high-level stuff through my words. But here's what I want to do. I want to start accepting clips from you guys once again. The medium to do this will still be YouTube, and I will appreciate if you can possibly get it into video form. I know it's difficult with Marvel because Marvel does not offer a replay feature like most other fighting games, and don't even get me started why it doesn't. So it can be a little difficult to record matches. However, if you do record matches and you're a person looking for advice, or you would like me to commentate on your match through and through and do a breakdown similar to the videos that I have, I would absolutely love to do that, to help those players get a little bit better and kind of like open up their possibilities of what they think is going on with the game. And if there's something that I can potentially help with, I can help that through commentary, and during these Online Warrior episodes, I can, you know, give you guys proper exposure. If you have like an awesome video, I can commentate that as well, and you also have videos that you need help with, I don't mind doing that either. So, this is where it comes up to you guys, and I don't like to ask the community of subscribers and the guys watching my videos to do very much, except just watch and kind of absorb what's going on with the game. And if you guys want to become more involved, I would love to get you more involved, and I'd love to give your channels proper exposure if you have awesome gameplay, or you need gameplay that needs help. So if you'd like to submit a video clip like that, please follow the instructions on the screen. It would be best if you did so through a video response. And in that video response, you'll need to upload your gameplay. Please don't include commentary, just make it like raw match footage. And I'll probably provide the commentary once I get the footage, and I'll use that in later episodes of the Online Warrior of the stuff I think people need help with, or the stuff I think should be displayed because it's totally awesome. And in those matches, I'll do pretty much a live match commentary, tell you who it's coming from, and then give you proper exposure to your channel, and then maybe do like a post-match breakdown similar to the Online Warrior episodes that I already currently have. And that'll be what composes the later episodes of the Online Warrior. Maybe if we get to episode 50, if that happens, like things might be completely different by then, and there might be 3 more different versions of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 out, but it's hard to say. All I really want to do right now is to help out those players that are having frustrations with this stuff, and especially the newer players that are trying to get into fighting games that might not have any prior knowledge, because I think those folks are kind of like the most important, even though a lot of folks refer to people like that as like scrubs and things like that. I think at the same point, a scrub is a person who is like a lower level, like a guy who has found like a basic tactic and just abuses it. Like that's the clinical definition for scrub. When you think of like new guys, the new term noob is more appropriate, but not really appropriate. It's someone who has no education and wants to get into something. And I think that's important for this community, especially because when it comes to fighting games, there's a lot that nurtures the higher tier players and the people that are really good, and there's not a lot that really caters for the lower level players. There's excellent websites that you guys can visit, and if you guys are watching right now and you're looking for an avenue to start getting into fighting games and understanding what's going on in the community besides like my channel, check out certain pages like Event Hubs and ShoreYouCan.com, I Play Winner. Those sites would be absolutely excellent for that information and those character guides and things like that you would be looking for each one of these games. So in conclusion, I'd like to thank everybody once again for tuning in weekly to episodes of the Online Warrior for these multiple fighting games, especially for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because I kind of feel like it's my baby. And thanks for listening to this episode, kind of like a celebratory episode that we actually got to 25 episodes, and we're still going strong. It was kind of a realization for myself when I had somebody come up to me recently and say, "You have the biggest fighting game channel on YouTube, right?" I'm like, "No." Like, I kind of responded like with no initially, and he's like, "Yeah, you do. Like, you you kind of focus the most around fighting games, and you have, like, you know, the biggest audience. I'm like, shut up. It was kind of the point where I didn't even realize it, and if I don't know if it's exactly true or not, because I haven't really investigated it, but it kind of got me to the point to think about this stuff, to try to cater a little bit more towards all aspects of the community. So with a little bit of your help, and if you submit those videos, I'll try to be as supportive as possible to help you guys get into fighting games. Until then, thank you all very much for watching the video. This has been Max, and I'll see you next time.